Okay, last time we talked about 2 by 2 matrix and determinants and inverses. So now we're moving on to going 3 by 3, which is a little more complicated. So let's get into it. First off, we have our determinants. So with the 2 by 2, remember it's just the down minus up, but we can't do that now with this because if we just did down minus up, we would be missing out on 4 of the numbers. Basically, would it be that 4 numbers don't matter? Well, they obviously do. So there's kind of a new formula. So what you would do is you would take these first 2 rows and rewrite them. Okay, so write them after it. So if you see down here, if you can see past them, it says A, B, C, A, B, and then D, E, F, D, E, and so on and so forth. So you see I've added the first 2 lines at the end. And then we take all 3 down and then all 3 up. Okay, so you have 2 numbers that you don't use, D and E, that aren't covered. And so what you'll do is you multiply every single arrow down, each triplet, so each set of 3 numbers, and add them up. And then the 3 numbers up, and then you subtract them. So this is now your down, and this is now your up. Okay, so it's a little bit more confusing, but it's still pretty straightforward. So with this one, what we'd want to do first is that we'd want to rewrite -3, 2, 0, 4, -5, 2. Okay, and then we would do all the downs first. So the first down would be -3, -5, and 3, which would be a positive 45. And then we would add that to the next one down, which would be 0, and the third one down, which is also 0. Okay, because it's 4, 1, 0, 0, 1, 2. So it's basically just 45. And then we go the ups. So the first up would be 0. Okay, because it's 0, -5, 0. The second one would be 2, 1, -3, which would put you at -6. And then the last one, 3, 2, 4, which would put you at 24. So you would be adding 24 to this, which would get you 18. So it would be 45 minus 18, which gets you 27. Okay, so the first one would be 27. Same thing on the second one. So we repeat the first 2 numbers, or first 2 columns. 1, 0, -5. And then we do the same thing. So down, which would be 0, 0, 0. And then the ups, 0, 0, 0, minus 0. So it looks like the second one would be 0, which means that the second one does not have an inverse. Okay, so the second one does not have an inverse. Okay, now with your inverses of a 3 by 3, you're just going to have to use a calculator on these. It takes too much time for you guys to do it by hand. It's too complicated and everything. So anytime you have to do anytime I make you do a 3 by 3 matrix, you will be able to use your calculator. So you want to make sure you have your graphing calculator. Okay. So this is the step-by-step for a TI-8384. Okay, if you have a different one, it's going to be slightly different. So if you do have questions in class, you can come and ask me about it. So basically, you start off going second x to the negative first. It should say matrix above it. Then you edit it. You type it in. You say the size of the matrix. You type in all the numbers, and then you go back and you do and then after you put this should be on your main screen. The A, you push x -1, it should put a little -1 on it and enter, and it should give it to you. Okay, so if we want to find the inverse of this one, you're going to go through everything. So if you want to take a minute or so to type all this in, you can go back to the previous to to see what it is, and then write it up. And your answer should be 3, 2, 1. That should be your answer. Okay, so as you see, you get kind of messy decimals, and that's why I'm not having you guys do it by hand, because a lot of times you will get these type of answers, and it's just a mess. Okay, so don't worry about that. Okay, this one's fairly short, mostly because a lot of it you can do on your calculator. So your IRAT, you're going to do 2. The first one is just to find the determinant, so you add your extra 2 rows. So you're going to go 0, 1, -2. 2, 2, 0, and then you do your down and up. Okay, so it would be 0, 2, 1 plus 2, 4, -2 plus negative blah blah blah. Okay, so you do your down minus the up to find that one. So that should just be a single number. And the second one, use your calculator to find what the inverse is. And these should come up as nice round numbers, semi-round numbers. You might get a couple decimals, but I think there's actually only 1 decimal in it, but it should be fairly easy. But use your calculator on that second one, okay, to find the inverse.